All right, so I'm gonna do a little garden tour today. My yard is in disrepair right now. Honestly, I haven't gotten any weeding done. The weather hasn't been great. It's been raining a lot, which is great for the plants. So there's that, but also a lot of changes about to happen. So figured I would do something so that I have something to sort of document. You can see the hose is out. Like, it's just a disaster right now. I have to install my rain barrel that I just got yesterday. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done, but I wanted to sort of document it now before all the chaos happens. So let's get started. So along this side of the house, I started, and this isn't my house, this is my neighbor's house. Along this side, I started a new garden bed, which is a work in progress, as you can probably tell. But I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to look really nice once it's all done. So I actually transferred a lot of plants here last year, and I don't think that I realized how many I transferred over to this side. So I've just been kind of surprised every time something pops up. So let's see right here. Right there. Right next to that ginormous weed, there is a hosta popping up that I do not remember planting. So there's that. Here is a bleeding heart that I planted last year that I actually transplanted to this side. I grew it bare root, and one of my very few successes bare root because I don't have very much luck with it. So yeah, I feel like that's a Japanese painted fern back there, but don't quote me on that. I have so many hostas that I don't particularly remember which ones I planted and what's what. You can see right there, there's a hosta. There are some tiny little coral bells. There's one there. These are coral bells that are a smaller variety. They stay kind of small. Another hosta right there. The heuchera, another hosta's popping up. I don't remember, honestly, the varieties at all, which is very good. And you probably can't tell because it matches the mulch. But let me see if I can point at it. Right here, there is a fern. I want to say that it's either lady fern. Yeah, I want to say that that's what it is. There's no telling until it comes up. And then here I have another hosta. Again, don't remember the variety. When they come up, I think I'll be able to sort of ID them a little bit better. But since they're so brand new, and you could tell that's like one of my few like blue toned hostas, and I'm like obsessed with them. So I'm really excited that I have, because that's the color that I'm sort of missing in the garden, right? In the shade garden, I should say. We've moved on to this very gross and weedy patch of that will be incorporated to this garden. So you see, I have these tiny little pavers that are sort of separating the space. That's going to change because we have wood mulch the entire backyard, which means that if it were grass, the little pavers that I was using here would be enough. But because we are using wood mulch, you can see the mulch just kind of is like, you mean nothing to me, pavers. So it's just kind of getting in there and it's not great. So yeah, but I figured I would, talk about this because I feel like everyone always shows their garden when it's like fully established and it looks amazing. And I want to talk about the gardens that are like a work in progress and that don't look that great. And what better part to start with than this? Because this is like probably my youngest, my sort of untouched area. I just kind of transplanted a few things last year, but it's not really established. It's kind of brand new. And this area, you can tell that we're going to be making some changes here. I plan on kind of going from that fence post right over here and taking some, or even the end of this garden bed and taking some pavers, some nice large pavers all the way down and creating a really nice bed there. And this area, you can see that I actually took some cuttings from my forsythia that I got this year, and I just tried to root it by literally, all I did was stick it in the ground. So, and I want to show you, that was probably 2 weeks ago. It is fully rooted, a testament to the strength of the forsythia and how just, and this is like a shaded area too, like it's just doing so well here. It's been there probably a week and a half. So this is the bird bath planter that I bought last year. I'm trying to get my shadow out of there. All I did was drill some holes and sort of fill it with succulents. Then I transplanted all the succulents at the end of last year, but at the beginning of this year, somebody was stealing my succulents from the front yard. Such is urban life. What are you going to do? So this is that area next to the garbage area, and actually I'm trying a little bit of an experiment. I'm sorry, that bird is super loud, but he lives here, so I can't really kick him out. This is the experiment. I am planting some black raspberries. You may or may not know, I have a ginormous black walnut tree in my backyard, which, if you do not know, is toxic to other plants. Super fun. So you have to sort of figure out what works in your garden. So black raspberries actually are jugalone tolerant, which is why I'm trying to start this little patch here. I just kind of put those supports for now, but my plan is these are where the old fence posts were in our yard. We had this fence that our neighbors installed, and then our fence, and it was like our fence was gross, so I just took it down. But I plan on using these fence posts to train up through wires the black raspberries, so they have supports, which is neat. So this is that right next to that area with the black raspberries. This is a gooseberry that I bought bare root at Turnbull Nursery, which is an amazing place where they have like a barn where you could just buy a bunch of like bare root plants. And it's really, I can't remember what I paid for this, but it was absurd. It was really, really ridiculous. Let me see if I can get a close up on that. That one's looking really good, leafing out really nicely. And it should get pretty big. So because of that black walnut tree, we have a very shaded backyard for the most part of the day. Right now, the black walnut has not leafed out yet. Let me show you what it looks like. First of all, it's huge. And it hasn't leafed out, as you can tell. And that's why we're getting as much sun as we are in the present moment, because in a couple of weeks, it's not going to look like this. It's going to be very shaded. So that gives me the challenge of finding plants like this, that perennials that will perform in the shade. Oh, hi, cat. There is a kitty cat. I don't know if you see him. He's like, what are you doing here? Can you see him? I can't see him in the viewfinder, but I can see him in person. I don't know if you can see. Oh, we have cats that. There he is. Look at you. You're so cute. I don't like cats, but that's a pretty cute cat. You're hiding in my yard? I know. I'm making it very inconvenient for you, aren't I? Anywho, let's continue with the tour. It really is like a part of city life. You have just like animals, and you have to worry about cats, you have to worry about rats, you have to worry about everything when you live in the city. That's just kind of the way it goes. All right, so before we go into this area, I wanted to give you a quick turnaround. Sorry it's sunny, but also not sorry. So, because it's in Buffalo and it's never sunny in Buffalo. This is my raised bed. I have to do a raised bed. I cannot grow in the native soil, partially because, for several reasons. I have a very old home, which in Buffalo means it almost guarantees that we have lead in the soil, but also because of the black walnut tree, a lot of plants, a lot of vegetables are not jugalone tolerant, especially from the nightshade family. So that includes like peppers, tomatoes, potatoes, things like that. They will not grow in the native soil. So that's why I decided to build this little raised bed. In retrospect, I wish I would have built a much taller raised bed because my dogs get in here, the cats get in, everybody gets in here. The squirrels, everybody gets in here. But as you can see, I haven't planted anything for this year yet. I've only planted, there's a few seedlings. I don't know if you can see that. There are a few seedlings planted that are starting to sprout. I've got some snap peas or snow peas. I don't remember which one I got, and I got a little trellis so that they can climb up. And I've just got a few perennials, but I have seeded a bunch of stuff, so we'll see how it does. I'm kind of waiting until the last frost date, and I'm going to start hardening off the stuff that I have started from seed this year, because I plan on down the center. I'm going to do a bunch of tomato plants because my kids love tomato plants because they love, and because we have a shade garden, we can only plant the smaller varieties. So they love to just pick off the little cherry tomatoes off the vine and eat it. And it's for them, it's whimsical and lovely. So I am going to be planting a bunch of smaller varieties of tomatoes because they grow better in the shade and because my kids love it. So moving on, we do have a hammock here, which we haven't gotten to use really this year because it hasn't been nice out. We do use it when it's shady out, when we have nice weather. And I know it takes up a lot of my yard, but it's also, if you're, even if you do have a small yard, like you have to have the stuff that you love in there. And my husband and the kids love this hammock. I don't really use it because I'm kind of scared of hammocks. Fun fact about me, I'm weird like that. But they love it, so that's why we have it. Next, I'm going to take you to this corner, which is, I'm developing this corner. So I'm sorry that it's so sunny. It's just really hard to find the right time of day where this isn't completely full of sun until that tree leaves out. When that tree leaves out, then this whole area will be shaded. So this area is an area that I will be developing this year. I'm super excited about it. So you see right up until that forsythia, that whole area is going to be developed this year, which is why it kind of looks like a hot mess right now. Right now, it's very weedy. It's got a few foundation plants, or I should say like establishing plants, that will sort of give me the evergreen or some sort of winter interest. But right now are, really small. So this is, let me walk you over here. So let me just start in the corner. In the corner, I know you can't tell, but I have, this is where the kitty cat was. In the corner, I have this hosta that a friend gave me. Tony, thank you for that hosta because it's a beautiful blue hosta. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but it will turn into that. And then also I have some lemon balm all over that corner. And it is in the mint family, which you will find out about me. I am that person who everybody says do not put mint. I feel like everyone is that person where they tell you don't put mint in the ground and you do it anyway. Why do we do that? I don't know. But it is from the mint family. I don't mind lemon balm because it smells so good and it's got this amazing citrusy smell. But I will be I probably relocating that somewhere else. But you could see this is like about its third year, so it has spread a significant amount. But I like lemon balm and it's got a great smell and it does flower eventually, so I don't care. I'm going to leave it there. We do have a lot of weeds, but also I have some chives here that are doing great. My husband actually took some chives for this morning's breakfast, which was really delish. Right here where that red is, that is a wild rose that my friend gave me when I first moved in. I put it back here like a dum-dum. It is compatible. It is juglone tolerant, but it doesn't get the sun that it needs to perform. So this year I'm going to be moving it to the front yard. And I'll show you where I'm planning on putting it. This is some comfrey that I planted from seed last year, that I started from seed last year. I had to stick it in the fridge for a few weeks, and then it sprouted because it does need, what is it called, vernization. So it does need to go through a cold spell to be able to sprout. And so I started it last year, and it is doing so well. Look at this. It's because it gets so much sun at the beginning of the spring, and it's doing so lovely. So I'm really happy. It's about to flower. Like the comfrey is doing amazing, and this is something that you can use in your vegetable garden. You can just throw it in there, and it will do really, really well. You can make comfrey tea from it. It's great. This is a red twig dogwood that I planted this year. I'm so sorry about the sun, but I really feel like it wasn't going to get much better than this. So the red twig dogwood, which doesn't look like a red twig dogwood at this point in time because it's already leafing out, and apparently it loses its coloration as soon as it leaves out, which is so weird because that was definitely red a few weeks ago. But that was a new planting this year, along with this guy. Boop. That is green giant arborvitae, or arborvitae. I call it arborvitae. I probably am wrong, but whatever. So that's a green giant arborvitae. It will get very big, but what's nice about this one is that you can just sort of lop the top of it off. And I wanted something that would get big, that would be some winter interest, because we don't have a ton of winter interest right now in this backyard. So I did give it, you could tell I gave it 4 feet in each direction so that it can spread out, because it will get very big. They get 30 to 40 feet tall. We would never let it get that tall. But that's what's happening with this guy. And I planted him this year, which is why he's so teeny tiny. But he will grow fast, and he'll be our winter interest. And That being said, there's a bunch of weeds that I need to clear out, but this whole area is going to be developed this year. From that forsythia onto that vegetable bed, that raised bed, I have plans. I have big plans for this area. And it might mean moving some of these perennials. Like I think I planted the forsythia. I think I planted the forsythia and the red twig dogwood a little too far away from the fence, so I'm going to rectify that. So this is my forsythia that I planted. I wanted it sort of like a screening plant, and it's looking really good. I love it. I love it so far. I'm obsessed with forsythias because we live in Buffalo. I know I've said that a number of times, but we live in Buffalo and we have really long, rough winters, and the forsythia plant just tells you that spring is like officially here, and it looks so happy in that bright yellow color. There's just something about it that I just love it. So you can't tell, but I'm going to try to point it out. I think it's over here. See that? That is a sweet autumn clematis. I need to get in there and weed it, not weed it out, weed the stuff around it out. But the idea is we have this like kind of ugly chain link fence. It's just something about chain link fences. They're gross. But we have this chain link fence that I would like to somewhat cover up. So the sweet autumn clematis, this is its second year. This year should be better than last year, but in the years to come, it should kind of completely cover this fence, which is the goal. It's #goals. So we've got a few hostas here. We have one on the other side of the forsythia. Again, I don't really know the varieties just yet. I know that right next to the forsythia, right next to that hosta, there is another Japanese painted fern, which is beautiful. It's coming back really nicely. I thought I moved all of these hostas, but apparently I didn't. And right now they're getting a nice block of light in the morning, but that won't happen moving forward. That's definitely going to change, and as soon as this tree leaves out. This is my little attempt at like screening. So this is my Rose of Sharon that I bought bare root this year. Let me see. There it is. That's the one that I bought bare root this year. But these are the ones that my friend gave me last year. And then the twigs that you see sort of sticking out of the ground that are just starting to leaf out, those are willow branches that I am starting to create a fence with. My idea is to create a nice green fence that's like nice to look at. So we'll see how that goes. That's the beginning of it. Once those root and they're starting to, I can start to take cuttings from them, and I can start to develop that little green living fence that I want. All right, let's move. So here is the tray. Okay, we are almost out of the sun. I'm so excited. All right. So this is, we just came from that side of the tree. We do have a swing that the girls use all spring and summer. They love it. So right back here, I have some Solomon seal that I planted this year that overwintered at my garden center. So it should be, and it's already popping up out of the ground, so I'm really excited. It's some variegated Solomon seal, and I have a little Buddha statue that I put right under my tree, and he'll go like right here. And so I just like have this vision of the Solomon seal popping out over like behind him. I have a hosta here. I would like to get some Hyconocloa grass, some Japanese forest grass, to put in front of the Buddha statue, like maybe like around here, so he just kind of like is in front of him, and I think that would look so pretty because it's the beautiful green with the variegation of the Solomon seal in the back. We have a hosta, and then I am obsessed. Let me move you here into the shade. I am obsessed with sweet woodruff. I think it's one of the prettiest ground covers that you could put in. It does sort of start to fade out at the end of summer, but it is, look at it right now. It's so lush. It's so dainty looking, very feminine. So let me just take you there. So I do have a hosta back there. I have some sweet woodruff. I know I have a fern. Here we go. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of popping up over here. Got a fern there. I've got some Jacob's ladder. These flowers are like a blue. I want to get some purple ones. I think I'm going to get some purple ones and add some purple ones this year because I really love, so even before they flower, they've got such a pretty leaf structure. They're so pretty to look at. I love them. So next to that, let me zoom out a little bit. So next to that, I've got some more sweet woodruff. I know I've got, oh, there you go. I have a hosta popping up here. And then this is my bleeding heart that I planted way too close to that fern, but I heard in a video, another YouTube video, that they're really hard to move. So I'm like scared to move it because it's actually flowering this year and it looks so pretty. Okay, let me see if I can show you. So you can kind of tell it's starting to flower and it's just so beautiful. And I've heard that Dicentra's bleeding hearts are so, so tough. So I'm really looking forward to, I think I'm just going to leave it there, honestly. I'm a little scared to move it, but maybe I'll look up some information to see if they're as hard to move as people say that they are. Hopefully not, but here we are. Okay, so I've got another hosta there. I've got one right next to the bleeding heart because you have to keep in mind, this is my first like official garden. So I feel like I'm learning a lot on the job. I'm figuring stuff out as I go, and it's like a learning curve for me. So I think I planted this thinking, oh, the bleeding heart won't get so big. And I just had no concept for how big it would get. And it is huge. And having gone to the planting fields arboretum the other day and seeing like a bunch of bleeding hearts that have been established for like decades, they get huge. So that was a mistake. But you live and you learn. These hostas are doing great. Okay, I'm super excited. We're getting to a part of the garden that I'm super pumped about. So there's, as you can see, more sweet woodruff, more hostas, more sweet woodruff. And what's exciting about some of this, so half of the sweet woodruff, this is going to be, you can tell the ones that were planted last year. This one was planted last year. I'm trying not to hit the mic. This one was planted last year, and then like this one was planted 2 years ago. So this is its third year. And I'm excited to see it leap because it's like, what is it? The first they sleep, the second they creep, the third they leap, right? This one was planted 2 years ago, I think, as well. So you can see already we're getting a ton of growth. Okay, so let's move on. This is a part of the garden that I'm super pumped about. So there's some more Jacob's ladder, some sweet woodruff. Look at this Sum and Substance hosta right next to that bird bath. Can you just imagine? Can you even? Okay, give me a second. Let me zoom out. Can you even imagine how pretty this is going to be once that hosta leaves out fully? It's going to look so pretty. It's going to kind of envelop that bird bath. It's going to be so, so beautiful. So actually that sweet woodruff right behind it, right there, I planted, I literally took a cutting from one of the ones, like from that one. From that one right there. I took a cutting from that one right there and I moved it there because right here I don't have any sweet woodruff and I want this whole area to fill in. So that'll fill in nicely. I've got a few hostas, but I feel like I need something different here. I'm not sure what, but I would like to sort of, the corners of the houses and like under the deck is kind of ugly. So I kind of want something to fill in there, but I don't know, maybe something a little bit taller. Maybe something that we can see when we're standing on the deck. My deck that needs to be refinished this year. All right, so that was where the bird bath is and everything. So this is under the deck. And as you can see, under the deck, I've planted a ton of hostas. And then there's some snow on the mountain. The reason being is that under there's, let me see if I can show you. It's kind of ugly. It's kind of ugly. So I wanted to plant something that would sort of cover that so that, when people kind of saw under the house or under the deck, they just saw pretty plants instead of seeing like an ugly deck. And I did put the pavers. So these are the pavers that I plan on also putting on the other side of the house where that new bed is. And where the bed that I'm going to be working on near the arborvitae and the red twig dogwood is going to be. So I'm going to be putting a bunch of stuff. Here's some snow on the mountain that, again, my friend Tony gave to me last year, yesterday, that my friend Tony gave to me last year, that my dream is that the snow on the mountain will fill this whole area with the hostas and will just create this beautiful, I wanted to just kind of completely cover all the ugliness. Now, if you're wondering why there are no plants back there, it's because there is a cement pad there, so I can't plant anything there. So I'm really counting on this whole area to sort of fill in with the snow on the mountain, and that should look really nice. Okay, so we're back on the side of my neighbor's house because I want to show you the ugly parts of the garden that I need to clear up. So this was the fence that we took out that where the fence posts are, where the raspberries and the gooseberries are now. So this fencing, I'm going to try to get rid of it this year. Here is all the mulch that I have for that new area. Well, it probably won't be enough for the whole new area, but for some of it. I have a rain barrel. This is where we keep our trash cans. That rain barrel is going to go on the front of the house. I just have to get around to connecting it. I have some soil that I dug out from the front yard whenever I was planting perennials, and that will go, wherever I need soil, really. And this is where I keep my compost bins. And as you can see, we actually did wood mulch this year because it gets so muddy at the beginning of spring when the snow melts. It gets really muddy, and the dogs were tracking in all this mud. This is my little bin for cleanup and stuff like that. It's supposed to be in the shed, but it is not. This is my shed that I'm very unhappy with. I wish I had a nicer shed. It's plastic, but it's also like, I think it's because it's not level. The doors never stay on properly. But yeah, I wanted to show you, like, this is a work in progress. Like, we're not a show garden. Look at that. The door never stays in place. It infuriates me. But it is our fault. It is because that area is not level. There is like half concrete pad, and then there is half like, so it's weirdly, it's not level is the point. So yeah, as you can see, we have a lot of cleanup, and I have a lot of projects this year. So these pavers, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Maybe create like a little tiny paver garden somewhere. I don't know where, because the wood chips really kind of changed the game with those pavers, and they don't really make a ton of sense anymore. Ooh. But yeah, let me do a quick, like, I guess 360. So let me do a quick 360 of my little backyard garden, so you have an idea of what it looks like. It's not much, but it's mine, and I love it. And yeah, and so we have our little tree. You can see we're surrounded by neighbors on all sides. So like this year, the focus was going to be a lot on screening out our neighbors, not because we dislike our neighbors, but just because we like our privacy. So yeah, so that's my garden, and thank you for watching this video, and I'll do another tour of the front yard when I get a chance of it. It's a little harder to do the front yard because I feel dumb talking in the backyard, but I'm going to feel even more dumb talking in the front yard. So this is my backyard. I hope you liked it. And yeah, and keep watching my videos. Hit subscribe so that you can see this section, because this is what we're going to be working on next. And I think it's going to look so nice. I have so many plans. I can't wait to share it with you. So yeah, so hit subscribe so that you can see what that looks like after we're done. All right. Well, thank you for coming on this journey with me, and I will see you next week.